Single dad saved a lost girl. Hours later, her billionaire mother arrived with a terrifying truth. The little girl was standing barefoot in the middle of the highway when Daniel Harper saw her. The storm had rolled in fast, one of those sudden autumn downpours that blurred headlights into halos and turned the road into glass. Daniel slammed the brakes of his pickup just in time. Tires hissed. The truck skidded sideways. For a split second he thought he was too late. But she was still there. Tiny. Soaked. Frozen. And staring straight ahead like she couldn't hear the horns screaming behind her. Hey, hey. Daniel jumped out before the engine even died. Rain hit him like needles. Sweetheart, look at me. It's okay. She didn't move. Cars were braking hard now. Someone shouted. Another vehicle swerved. Daniel didn't hesitate. He stepped into traffic, lifted her carefully, and shielded her body against his chest. She was ice cold. It's okay, he whispered, already walking back toward his truck. I've got you. You're safe now. Her fingers clutched his jacket like she'd been waiting for someone to say that. Inside the cab, he wrapped her in his son's spare hoodie from the back seat. He turned the heat on full blast. She looked about 5, maybe 6. Dark curls plastered to her forehead. Expensive coat, far too expensive for a child wandering alone on a rural highway. Daniel crouched in front of her. Hey, he said softly. What's your name? Pause. Lily. Her voice was barely a breath. That's a strong name, he replied gently. I'm Daniel. This truck? It's officially the safest place in the county right now. Her lip trembled. You cold? She nodded. He handed her a juice box from the console. My son hates apple flavor. Your lucky day. She blinked at him. You have a son? She asked quietly. Yep. 8 years old. Thinks he's taller than me. He's not. That earned the tiniest flicker of a smile. Daniel's chest loosened just a little. Where's your mom or dad, Lily? Silence. Then her eyes filled with something deeper than fear. She told me to run. Daniel stilled. Who did? My nanny, Lily whispered. She said if the black car came back I should run. She pushed me out the side gate. The rain hammered harder. Daniel felt something shift in his gut. This wasn't just a lost child situation. Okay, he said carefully. Come. Measured. The way he spoke to his son when things felt big. You did exactly what you were supposed to do. You ran. That was brave. She sniffled. Is she coming back? Daniel chose his words like stepping stones across a river. We're going to figure everything out. But right now, I'm not letting you out of my sight. She studied him like she was testing the promise. Are you strong? She asked. He almost smiled. Strong enough. At the small rural gas station a mile up the road, Daniel parked under the awning. He called local police first. Then he called his neighbor, asking her to pick up his son from soccer practice. Then he crouched back in front of Lily. Do you know your last name? She nodded. Van Alder. Daniel blinked. He knew that name. Everyone did. Clara Van Alder. Tech billionaire. CEO of one of the largest AI security companies in the world. The kind of woman who showed up on magazine covers and at global summits. The kind of woman who definitely didn't let her child wander highways alone. Daniel's phone buzzed. Unknown number. He answered. A controlled, elegant female voice came through, but barely holding together. This is Clara Van Alder. I was told you have my daughter. Daniel looked at Lily. She was watching him with fragile hope. Yes, he said evenly. She's safe. There was a sharp inhale on the other end. Where are you? Ridgeway Highway. Mile marker 42. Gas station. Pause. Then, do not leave. The line went dead. Lily tugged his sleeve. Is that my mom? Daniel met her eyes. Yeah, he said softly. I think it is. Lily's fingers tightened around his hand. Is she mad? No, he said gently. She sounds scared. And something about that scared him too. Because powerful people don't sound scared unless something is very wrong. 15 minutes later, black SUVs rolled into the station like a silent convoy. Men stepped out first. Suits. Earpieces. Then she emerged. Tall. Composed. Rain sliding down her dark coat. The kind of presence that bent the air around her. Clara Van Alder walked straight toward the truck. And for the first time since Daniel found Lily, he wasn't sure who needed protecting more. Clara's eyes locked onto her daughter. Lily? The word cracked. Lily gasped. Mommy? She bolted into her mother's arms. Clara dropped to her knees on wet pavement without hesitation. No concern for cameras. No concern for image. Just a mother clinging to her child. Daniel stepped back quietly. But as Clara looked up at him, there was gratitude in her eyes. And something else. Fear. Deep, calculated fear. Thank you, she said. Voice steady now. Controlled. CEO back in place. You have no idea what you've interrupted tonight. Daniel's jaw tightened slightly. Someone was chasing her? Clara didn't answer directly. Instead, she said quietly, they weren't after her. A beat. They were after me. And suddenly the storm didn't feel like the biggest threat anymore. If stories like this make you feel something real, stay with me for next part. And subscribe to my channel for more stories where ordinary people become the quiet heroes. Because what arrived with those black SUVs wasn't just power. It was danger. And Daniel had just stepped into it. The rain didn't stop. It softened. Like even the sky was listening. Clara Van Alder held her daughter like she was trying to anchor herself to the earth. Lily, she breathed against her hair. You're okay. You're okay. I've got you. You said to stay inside, Lily whispered, clutching her mother's coat. But Miss Harper said to run. Clara froze. Miss Harper? She asked carefully. Our nanny, Daniel said quietly. She mentioned a black car. Clara looked up at him. Not defensive. Calculating. How much did she tell you? Clara asked. Only that she was told to run if it came back. A flicker passed through Clara's eyes. Not panic. Strategy. She stood slowly, keeping Lily wrapped in her arms. Her security team formed a subtle half-circle, but Daniel noticed something important. Clara positioned herself between Lily and her own security. Interesting. You, Clara said, looking directly at Daniel now. What's your name? Daniel Harper. Daniel, she repeated. Testing it. You stepped into traffic for her. That's what you do when a child is standing in traffic. A faint ghost of a smile touched her mouth. Most people film it, she said. Daniel shrugged. I don't carry a camera. Just jumper cables and snacks. One of her security men stepped forward. Ma'am, we should relocate immediately. Clara didn't move. Not yet. She turned back to Daniel. Walk with me. They stepped a few feet away, but Lily still held Daniel's sleeve. He didn't shake her off. Clara noticed that too. She trusts you, Clara said quietly. She was cold. That's not what I meant. Their eyes held. There was something sharp about Clara Van Alder. Intelligent. Measured. Used to rooms where she commanded outcomes. But there was something unpolished about Daniel. And she didn't seem immune to that. You know who I am, she said. Yeah. And you're not asking for anything. He frowned slightly. Should I be? She studied him longer this time. No, she said softly. You shouldn't. A beat. Then, Daniel, I need you to tell me exactly what she said. Word for word. So he did. She said her nanny told her to run if the black car came back. She said the nanny pushed her out the side gate. She asked me if you were mad. Clara's jaw tightened. She thinks I'd be mad? She's 5, Daniel replied gently. When kids don't understand danger, they assume they caused it. That hit something. Clara's posture shifted just slightly. I told her you sounded scared. Not angry. Clara swallowed. Thank you. A black SUV door opened. Another figure stepped out. Federal jacket. Daniel saw the letters immediately. FBI. Clara didn't look surprised. You're early, she said calmly. The agent approached. Mid-40s. Sharp gaze. We didn't want to risk another gap. Daniel stiffened. Another gap? The agent looked at Daniel. You found her? Yes. Where? Highway. The agent nodded once. Sir, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Clara stepped in smoothly. He's not a suspect. I'm aware, the agent said evenly. But this is now a federal matter. Daniel looked between them. Okay, he said. Then someone explained to me what's happening. Silence. Clara made a decision. Fine, she said. He deserves to know. She turned to Daniel fully. My company develops predictive security systems. AI surveillance. Threat detection. I've read about it, Daniel said. You're on the cover of business magazines. Yes, she said flatly. And I recently discovered that one of my senior partners has been leaking proprietary code to private defense contractors. Daniel absorbed that. That sounds expensive. It's worse than expensive, the FBI agent cut in. It's destabilizing. Clara continued. When I confronted him, he vanished. Within 48 hours, my nanny reported being followed. And tonight? Daniel asked. Tonight, Clara said, voice steady but cold, was meant to send a message. Daniel felt his stomach drop. They used her. Yes. Lily tugged Daniel's jacket again. Are the bad men here? Daniel crouched immediately. No, he said gently. And even if they were, there are a lot of adults here who don't let bad men win. Clara watched that interaction carefully. There was no bravado in Daniel's tone. Just certainty. And Lily believed him. The FBI agent stepped closer. Ma'am, we need to move. Clara nodded. Then she turned back to Daniel. I owe you. You don't owe me anything. That's not how this works. I don't care how it works where you're from. That almost made her laugh. Where am I from, Daniel? The kind of place where favors come with contracts. And you think I operate that way? I think you operate efficiently. There it was. Subtle tension. Not hostility, but friction. Clara stepped closer. Come with us, she said suddenly. Daniel blinked. What? Just for a few hours. Let the FBI take your statement somewhere secure. Lily won't relax unless she sees you're okay. Ma'am, the agent warned. Clara didn't break eye contact with Daniel. You stepped into traffic for my daughter. I can at least make sure you don't get dragged into something blind. He hesitated. His phone buzzed. Text from his son's soccer coach. Evan scored twice. Where are you? Daniel exhaled slowly. I have a son, he said quietly. He's waiting for me. Clara softened. What's his name? Evan. Does he know you save children in the rain? No, Daniel replied dryly. He thinks I burn pancakes and lose at Mario Kart. That did it? Clara smiled fully this time. It changed her face. Lesio. More mother. Bring him, she said impulsively. Daniel blinked again. Bring my son. Yes. To your SUV parade? A flash of amusement crossed her eyes. To a secure residence. For safety. Until we know more. The FBI agent looked like he wanted to object again. But Lily clung tighter. Please, Lily whispered to Daniel. Don't go. That was the moment. Not Clara's wealth. Not the FBI. Not the tension. The child. Daniel sighed softly. Okay, he said. But only until morning. Clara nodded once. Until morning. Inside the convoy vehicle, Lily sat between Clara and Daniel. She refused to let go of his hand. Clara noticed. Lily, she murmured, Daniel has his own little boy. Lily looked up. Does he like pancakes? Daniel smirked. He says I flip them like frisbees. Clara tilted her head. Are you always this calm? No, Daniel replied. Only when kids are watching. Their eyes met again. And for a brief second, something shifted. Not romance. Not yet. Recognition. Two adults who both carried responsibility like armor. The convoy pulled into a gated estate on the outskirts of town. Lights everywhere. Security layered. But it didn't feel warm. Daniel noticed that too. Clara saw him noticing. It looks like a fortress, he said. It became one, she answered. Did you want it to? No, that honesty lingered between them. Inside, Lily refused to leave Daniel's side. Can he stay? She asked her mother quietly. Clara hesitated only half a second. Yes. The FBI agent stepped forward again. Ma'am, we have confirmation. The partner accessed offshore accounts tonight. Clara's face hardened. And? He's tied to a defense lobby group currently under investigation. Daniel looked up sharply. Corporate espionage? Whistleblower retaliation, the agent corrected. Clara exhaled slowly. He thinks I'll stay quiet to protect my daughter. Daniel's jaw tightened. And will you? Clara turned to him. No, a long silence filled the grand foyer. The FBI agent continued. This may escalate. Clara nodded. I expected it would. Daniel stepped closer unconsciously. And if it escalates toward her again? Clara didn't answer immediately. Instead, she looked at Daniel. You stepped into traffic without knowing her name, she said softly. Would you do it again? Yes. Why? He didn't hesitate. Because that's what fathers do. Something in Clara's expression cracked open. Not weakness. Trust. Lily suddenly hugged Daniel's waist tightly. Thank you for finding me. His hand rested gently on her curls. I'm glad you ran. She looked up. Are you going to leave now? Daniel looked at Clara. Clara held his gaze. A silent question passed between them. Stay. He nodded slightly. I'll stay a little longer. Lily smiled. The FBI agent's phone buzzed again. He read the message, then looked up. It's bigger than we thought. Clara straightened. How big? Your partner didn't just leak code. Pause. He embedded backdoor access points. Daniel frowned. What does that mean? The agent's voice was steady. It means someone may already be inside her security system. The room went still. Clara's eyes darkened. Inside my company? No, the agent said. Inside your home. And suddenly Daniel understood. This wasn't just about corporate betrayal. It was about exposure, vulnerability, and the kind of danger that doesn't knock. It walks through your front door. Subscribe to my channel for more stories where ordinary people choose integrity over power. Because in this house full of security, the safest person might not be the billionaire. It might be the single dad who stepped into traffic without asking who was watching. The house was too quiet. Not peaceful quiet. Calculated quiet. Daniel stood near the massive glass windows overlooking the estate grounds. Security lights traced the perimeter. Guards moved in careful patterns. But none of it felt solid anymore. If someone had embedded backdoor access inside the system, then every camera might be watched. Every lock might be unlocked. Every light might be a performance. Behind him, Clara was on the phone. No, she said sharply. Shut down the secondary servers. I don't care what it costs. Pause. Yes, immediately. She hung up. Daniel turned. Your system controls the house? Yes. And someone could override it? Potentially. Then why are we still standing in it? Her eyes flicked up. Because he wasn't panicking. He was thinking. I've disabled internal automation, she said. Manual overrides only. Old-fashioned locks now. He nodded once. Good. She studied him. You're not intimidated. I grew up with manual everything, he replied. Technology doesn't scare me. People misusing it do. That earned a slow, thoughtful look. You're very calm, she said. I'm not, he answered honestly. I'm just not loud about it. A faint smile ghosted her lips. I don't meet many men like you. That sounds expensive, he said dryly. She laughed softly. The tension didn't disappear. But it shifted. Footsteps. The FBI agent re-entered the room. We've located the former partner. Clara's posture went rigid. Alive. Yes. Talking? Not yet. Daniel crossed his arms. What's his name? Victor Hale. Clara's voice cooled by several degrees. He built the first version of our algorithm with me. Daniel glanced at her. And he decided to sell it? He decided power was more interesting than principle. Daniel exhaled slowly. People always think that. Clara looked at him carefully. You sound like you've seen it before. He hesitated. My ex-wife, he said simply. Different scale. Same idea. Clara didn't push. She respected that boundary. Lily had fallen asleep upstairs. Daniel checked on her quietly. She was curled up in a guest bed too large for her small frame. One hand still clutched his hoodie sleeve. He gently eased it free. Clara stood in the doorway watching. She hasn't slept like that in months, she said quietly. Like what? Like she's safe. The word lingered. Daniel stepped back into the hall. You're doing everything you can, he said. She leaned lightly against the wall. I built systems to predict danger. To prevent breaches. And I didn't predict betrayal. He held her gaze. Betrayal isn't logical. It's emotional. She looked at him sharply. You think this is personal? Yes. Why? Because he didn't just leak code, Daniel said. He wanted you destabilized. Silence. Then, he once told me, Clara said slowly, that the world doesn't respect women who don't bend. Daniel's jaw tightened. And you didn't bend. No, good. She studied him again. You're very sure of yourself. I'm sure of basic things, he replied. Kids deserve safety. Integrity matters. Pancakes should be flipped, not thrown. She laughed softly again. You're disarming. Not trying to be. I know. And that was the problem. Hours later, after statements and strategy meetings, the FBI agent approached Daniel privately. Mr. Harper. Daniel. Daniel, he corrected. You may want to reconsider staying involved. Involved how? You were seen retrieving her. If Hale's people review footage, you're now a variable. Daniel nodded once. I figured. You have a son. Yes. We can assign temporary protection. Daniel shook his head. I don't want my kid growing up thinking danger follows us. The agent studied him. You'd rather it not? I'd rather handle it quietly. That's not how federal cases work. Daniel met his gaze evenly. It is in my house. The agent exhaled slowly. You're stubborn. No, Daniel replied. Just selective. Clara found them mid-conversation. Is there a problem? The agent hesitated. He's a potential leverage point. Clara's expression hardened instantly. No, ma'am, no, she repeated. He saved my daughter. He is not leverage. Daniel raised an eyebrow slightly. Appreciate that. Clara stepped closer to him now. Come with me, she said quietly. They walked onto the balcony overlooking the dark grounds. Cold air. Soft wind. No cameras active here. Manual zone. She faced him fully. I need to ask you something difficult. Okay. If this escalates further, she said carefully, and they attempt pressure through association. You mean me? Yes. Go on. She took a breath. I can offer you relocation. Financial security. A position within my company's safety division. He blinked. You're recruiting me? I'm protecting you. By putting me deeper inside it? Her eyes flashed. I'm trying to ensure you're not vulnerable. He leaned lightly against the railing. You think money makes people untouchable? No. You think a job title does? No. Then what are you offering me? She stepped closer. Control. Daniel shook his head slowly. That's an illusion. Silence. Then, what do you want, Daniel? The question wasn't business. It was personal. He answered simply. My son's safe. My conscience intact. Her voice softened. You could have more. I don't need more. You could build something larger. I already did, he replied. He's 8. That landed. She studied him in the dim light. You're very different from the men I negotiate with. Good. A flicker of tension sparked between them. Subtle. Green. Alive. You know, she said carefully, most people would have asked for something by now. Most people don't have what I have. And what's that? Enough. Silence again. Wind moving between them. For a second the air felt charged. Not dramatic, but intentional. She stepped even closer. Are you always this principled? No, he said quietly. Only when someone's watching. Who's watching now? He held her gaze. Your daughter. That broke it. Not the tension. The mask. She exhaled softly. You're dangerous. He blinked. I am? Yes. How? You make simplicity feel powerful. He smiled faintly. Maybe it is. Suddenly the house lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then went out. Emergency backup kicked in seconds later. But in that brief darkness, every breath sharpened. Clara's phone buzzed instantly. She answered. What? Pause. Her face drained slightly. Show me. She turned the screen toward Daniel. On it, a single message sent through a compromised internal channel. You can't outrun this. Daniel's jaw set. He's escalating. Yes. The FBI agent's voice crackled over her phone. Ma'am, we've traced an external ping from inside your old system architecture. He's inside, Clara said. Temporarily. We're isolating. Daniel stepped closer instinctively. Is Lily secure? Yes. Physically? Yes. Then breathe, he said calmly. She looked at him sharply. Do not tell me to breathe. He didn't flinch. Okay. Then listen. She stilled. You're reacting to intimidation, he said evenly. That message isn't about capability. It's about fear. She swallowed. And you don't scare easy. Her eyes held his. No, she admitted. I don't. Good. The backup light stabilized. The room glowed again. But something had shifted. The threat was no longer theoretical. It was active. Later, when the house quieted again, Clara found Daniel in the kitchen. He was making tea. You cook? She asked lightly. I boil water, he corrected. She leaned against the counter. You refused everything. Yes. You know I could make your life easier. It's already good. She tilted her head. You're not tempted? He looked at her. Honest. I'm human. That answer surprised her more than refusal would have. But temptation isn't direction. She smiled softly. You're frustrating. I've been told. Pause. Daniel, she said more gently now. If something happens, it won't. You can't promise that. No, he admitted. But I can promise this. She waited. I won't let fear rewrite who I am. Silence. Heavy. Respectful. Then, you're staying until morning? She asked. Yes. And after that? He hesitated. I go home. She nodded slowly. And if this isn't over? He met her eyes. Then we deal with it. Together hung unspoken between them. Upstairs Lily stirred. Daniel? She called softly. He moved immediately. Clara watched him go. Watched the way Lily's breathing slowed the second he sat beside her. Watched the way safety could exist without wealth. And for the first time in a very long time, Clara Van Alder felt something unfamiliar. Not fear. Not control. Not power. Trust. But outside the gates, in a car parked 2 streets away, a man watched the estate through binoculars. He lowered them slowly. And smiled. Because Daniel Harper had just made himself visible. And visible people can be targeted. If stories like this make you feel something real, stay with me for next part 3 months later. Spring came softly. Not dramatic. Not loud. Just warmer mornings and longer light stretching across Daniel Harper's small backyard. The storm had passed. But not everything had. Daniel stood in his kitchen flipping pancakes. Dad, Evan groaned from the table, that one is not circular. It's abstract, Daniel replied calmly. It's shaped like Australia. Geography is educational. Evan squinted at it. Why does it have a tail? That's character. Evan grinned despite himself. You're bad at this. I'm consistent, Daniel corrected. The front door creaked open. Daniel didn't flinch. Unlocked? A familiar voice called lightly. Evan's head snapped up. Is that? Clara Van Alder stepped inside wearing jeans, a soft sweater, and zero visible security detail. Behind her, Lily peeked in. Hi. Evan blinked. That's the highway girl. Lily crossed her arms. I have a name. Daniel turned from the stove slowly. You brought backup, he said calmly. Clara smiled. I was told your pancakes are a humanitarian issue. They're misunderstood. Evan jumped up. Dad saved her from traffic. Lily nodded solemnly. He was very brave. Daniel cleared his throat. Okay, that's enough legend building before breakfast. Clara stepped closer into the kitchen. The room was smaller than any space she usually occupied, but warmer. She noticed the chipped counter edge, the magnets on the fridge, a drawing taped slightly crooked. Her eyes softened. You didn't take the position, she said quietly. No, you didn't accept the relocation. No, you didn't ask for anything. No, she tilted her head. You're very stubborn. He flipped another pancake. I prefer consistent. Evan leaned toward Lily. He's like this all the time. Lily whispered back loudly, my mom is bossy. Clara gasped lightly. I am efficient. Bossy, Lily repeated. Daniel hid a smile. They all sat at the small table. It was cramped. Intentional. Elbows bumped. Plates overlapped. Lily poked her pancake. It looks like a cloud. That's the point, Daniel said. It looks like a mistake, Evan corrected. Clara laughed quietly. I've negotiated billion-dollar contracts, she said, but I have never seen such bold culinary confidence. Daniel sipped his coffee. You're welcome to take over. She raised an eyebrow. Are you challenging me? Do CEOs cook? Her eyes glinted. I can follow instructions. That's new, Lily muttered. Clara pretended not to hear. After breakfast the kids ran into the backyard. There was a half-deflated soccer ball and a crooked wooden fence. Nothing grand. Nothing fortified. Just space. Clara stepped outside slowly. No guards? She asked quietly. No, Daniel said. No cameras. Just the doorbell. She watched Evan trip dramatically over nothing and laugh. Lily chased him. You're not afraid? She asked. Daniel leaned lightly against the porch post. I was, he admitted. And now? Now I decided fear doesn't get to design my house. She looked at him. You're aware the investigation isn't fully closed? Yes. Victor Hale is still negotiating immunity. Yes. And there may be civil backlash. He nodded. Probably. She stepped closer. You're very calm about that. No, he said again honestly. I just don't let it run the room. Silence stretched. Comfortable. Different from before. Less tension. More understanding. You know, she said softly, Lily still talks about that night. Daniel glanced toward the yard. She was brave. She says you smelled like rain and motor oil. He smiled faintly. That tracks. She also says, Clara continued carefully, that you didn't look scared. He didn't answer immediately. He said finally. But she didn't need to see that. Clara's gaze warmed. Green flag, she murmured under her breath. Sorry? Nothing. Evan ran up suddenly. Dad. Lily says her house has hidden rooms. It does not, Clara corrected calmly. It does, Lily insisted. There's a panic room. Evan's eyes widened. Like Batman? Daniel coughed lightly. Let's not compare. Clara shook her head with a smile. There is a reinforced safe room. Batman, Evan repeated. Lily crossed her arms proudly. My mom can shut down satellites. Clara blinked. That is classified. Daniel raised an eyebrow. You shut down satellites? Temporarily. Should I be concerned? Only if you misflip another pancake. He laughed quietly. The tension that once lived between them had softened into something warmer. Not spectacle. Not drama. Just presence. Later that afternoon, while the kids drew with sidewalk chalk, Clara and Daniel sat on the porch steps. Why did you really come? He asked gently. She didn't deflect. Closure, she said. That sounds corporate. She smiled slightly. Gratitude then. You already said thank you. I didn't say it properly. He looked at her. Okay. She inhaled slowly. You changed the trajectory of my daughter's life in 3 minutes. Silence. You didn't ask who she was. You didn't hesitate. You didn't calculate benefit. He shrugged lightly. She was standing in traffic. Yes, Clara said. But most people freeze. You study the yard. Freezing costs time. And you don't waste time? Not when someone small is in danger. Her voice softened. You are very safe. He glanced at her. Is that a compliment? Yes. She hesitated. And rare. The air shifted again. Not heavy, but aware. She met his gaze directly. I don't often meet men who are steady without needing to dominate. He blinked once. I don't compete with children. That's not what I meant. I know. A quiet beat. You scare me a little, she admitted. He almost smiled. I've been told that. Not because you're aggressive. Good. Because you don't bend. He considered that. I compromise, he said. I just don't collapse. She held that answer carefully. Lily ran up holding a folded paper. Daniel? He crouched instantly. What's up? She handed it to him. I made something. He opened it slowly. It was a drawing. A rainy road. A small stick figure in the middle. A larger one stepping in front. Above them, a sun breaking through clouds. He swallowed once. You kept this? I made it again, she corrected. The first one got wet. Clara watched his expression. Lily tugged his sleeve. Are you still strong? He smiled softly. Strong enough. She nodded, satisfied. Then ran back to Evan. Clara exhaled slowly. That night could have rewritten her, she said. It didn't. Because of you. Because of her, he corrected gently. She ran. Clara looked at him carefully. You give people ownership. I give kids credit. And adults? He met her gaze. Same rule. Silence settled again. This one deeper. Warmer. As the sun began lowering, Clara stood near her car. No convoy this time. Just a quiet driver waiting respectfully. She faced Daniel. I won't pretend I don't want you closer to this world, she said honestly. I know. And I won't insult you by offering money again. Thank you. But if you ever choose to step toward something larger, he interrupted gently. I already stepped toward something larger. She tilted her head. When? That night. Their eyes held. She smiled softly. You're impossible. And you're persistent. Green flag, she murmured again. Is that a corporate term? No, she said quietly. It means safe. The word lingered. She stepped a little closer. Not dramatic. Not intimate. Just intentional. Take care of yourself, Daniel. I always do. Good. A beat. Call me if you ever need anything. I won't. She raised an eyebrow. You're very consistent. He softened slightly. But Lily can visit. Her expression warmed fully now. She'd like that. And maybe, he added carefully, you could try flipping pancakes. She smiled slowly. That sounds dangerous. It is. The car door closed. The engine hummed. Lily waved wildly through the window. Evan waved back. Daniel stood on the porch until the car disappeared down the quiet street. The air felt lighter. Not because the world was perfectly safe, but because something had been chosen. Integrity. Presence. Enough. Evan walked up beside him. Dad. Yeah. Are we rich now? Daniel snorted softly. No, good. Why good? Evan shrugged. I like our house. Daniel looked at the crooked fence, the uneven grass, the chalk drawings fading on the driveway. Me too, he said. Inside, the leftover pancake batter sat on the counter, imperfect circles waiting to be made. Evan grinned suddenly. Can we make more? Daniel raised an eyebrow. They'll still be shaped wrong. Yeah, Evan said. But they're ours. Daniel nodded once. Okay. They went back inside together. The kitchen filled with the sound of sizzling batter. Outside, a butterfly landed briefly on the porch railing, stayed, then lifted into the warming evening air. No spectacle. No sirens. No black cars. Just a father and his son laughing over uneven pancakes. And somewhere not too far away, a little girl who once stood in traffic slept peacefully, because one man chose to step forward instead of freeze. And sometimes, that's enough. If stories like this make you feel something real, subscribe to my channel for more stories where ordinary people become quiet heroes. Because belonging isn't built with power. It's built with presence. And sometimes the safest place in the world is a small kitchen with imperfect pancakes and someone who shows up when it matters.